Does it feel like your attention span is getting shorter and shorter? Like everything is just boring to you, and you can't focus on anything for more than a few minutes before feeling the need to move on to something else. You know that this isn't normal, but you don't know why it's happening or what to do about it. But maybe you already have a diagnosis of ADHD, and you're wondering why you get bored so easily, or why you are not able to focus. Or maybe you are worried that you might be losing your mind because you just can't pay attention like you used to. Well, if any of this sounds familiar to you, then you are in the right place, because today we will talk about the 5 reasons why people with ADHD get bored so easily. The first reason why people with ADHD get bored so easily is because of how their brain works. Your brain needs stimulation to function properly. This is why you might find yourself constantly seeking out new and exciting experiences. Because when your brain doesn't get enough stimulation, it starts to shut down and you become bored. In order for our brains to work properly, we need dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter in your brain that helps control the reward system. It's basically your brain's way of saying, hey, this is important. Pay attention here. And when there isn't enough dopamine in your brain, you start to feel unmotivated and bored. And this is where things get tricky, because there are 2 types of dopamine, one that makes you want to do something, and the other that makes you do something. And with ADHD, the second type doesn't work very well. So even if you're motivated to do something, you might not be able to follow through and actually do it. Not only that, but people with ADHD also have a harder time feeling satisfied with the things they do. Even if you're working on something that you're passionate about, it can still feel unfulfilling without that extra dopamine boost. That's why people with ADHD often feel like they are never good enough, or that they could be doing more even when they're doing great. They just want that next dopamine hit to make them feel satisfied. This is why it's so important to find activities that you're passionate about, because then you're more likely to get that dopamine boost that you need to stay motivated. Now, that's not always easy, because sometimes you have to try a lot of different things before you find what really gets you excited. But once you do, then it will be easier for you to stay focused and motivated. Now, that was quite a lot of information, so let me sum it up for you. If you have ADHD, then your brain doesn't produce the right amount of dopamine, which means that you get bored easily because your brain needs stimulation. If you don't give your brain the right kind of stimulation, then it'll start to shut down. This is why people with ADHD need to find things they're passionate about, because that gives their brain the stimulation it needs. The second reason why people with ADHD get bored so easily is because they have a hard time regulating their emotions. People with ADHD have a harder time regulating their emotions, which means that they're more likely to get bored when things get boring. When you're bored, your brain starts to shut down because it's not being stimulated enough. And when that happens, you start to feel restless and irritable. And when you're already feeling restless and irritable, it's hard to focus on something that's boring. It's like trying to stay focused on something when you're already at your wit's end. It's just not possible. That's why people with ADHD need to find ways to regulate their emotions. There are a lot of different ways to do this, but some of the most effective ones are exercise, meditation, and therapy. Exercise is a great way to release pent-up energy and reduce stress. Meditation is a great way to calm your mind and focus on the present moment. And therapy is a great way to learn how to manage your emotions and develop coping mechanisms. If you can learn to regulate your emotions, then you'll be able to stay focused and motivated for longer periods of time. Now, moving on to number 3, which is that people with ADHD have a hard time staying focused. It's hard to stay focused on something when your brain is constantly telling you to do something else. It's like trying to read a book when you keep getting distracted by the things around you. It's just impossible. When you have ADHD, your brain is always looking for new and exciting things to focus on. It's hard to stay focused on something boring when your brain is constantly telling you to do something else. It's like trying to read a book when you keep getting distracted by the things around you. It's just impossible. That's why people with ADHD need to find ways to improve their focus. There are a lot of different ways to do this, but some of the most effective ones are medication, therapy, and brain training games. Medication can help you focus by increasing the levels of dopamine in your brain. Therapy can help you learn how to manage your ADHD symptoms and develop coping mechanisms. And brain training games can help you improve your focus and attention span over time. When you can learn to stay focused, then you'll be able to get more done and feel less bored. Now moving on to number 4, which is that people with ADHD have a hard time delaying gratification. This is the reason why you can't resist the urge to check your phone whenever it lights up, or why you can't wait until the end of the movie to find out what happens. You just can't resist the urge to check your phone whenever it lights up, or why you can't wait until the end of the movie to find out what happens. You just have to know now. And when you're constantly giving in to your urges, you miss out on the satisfaction of working towards a goal and achieving it. You never get to experience the feeling of accomplishment because you're always taking the easy way out. That's why people with ADHD need to learn how to delay gratification. And the best way to do that is to start small. Set small goals for yourself and work towards achieving them. For example, if you want to stop checking your phone so much, then set a goal to check it less frequently throughout the day. Then, when you achieve that goal, then move on to a bigger one. The important thing is to celebrate your successes along the way, because that will help you stay motivated and on track. When you can learn to delay gratification, then you'll be able to focus on your long-term goals and achieve them. Moving on to number 5, which is that people with ADHD have a hard time following rules. This is why you can't seem to stick to one hobby for more than a few months, or why you can't keep a tidy room even though you clean it every day. You just can't seem to stick to one hobby for more than a few months, or why you can't keep a tidy room even though you clean it every day. And when you're constantly breaking the rules, you never get to experience the satisfaction of knowing that you followed the rules and achieved something. You never get to experience the feeling of accomplishment because you're always taking the shortcut. That's why people with ADHD need to learn how to follow rules. And the best way to do that is to start small. Make small changes to your environment that make it easier for you to follow the rules. For example, if you want to start following the rules at work, then make sure that your workspace is organized and that you have all the materials you need to do your job. When you make it easier for yourself to follow the rules, then you'll be more likely to do it. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Don't be afraid to ask your boss or your colleagues for help when you're struggling to follow the rules. They can offer you support and guidance, which will make it easier for you to stay on track. When you can learn to follow rules, then you'll be able to get more done and feel less bored. So those are the 5 reasons why people with ADHD get bored so easily. I hope this video has helped you understand why you get bored so easily. If it has, then please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, remember to subscribe for more videos like this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.